今月5月28号开始。There was Jade 啊，这个不知道
Dread.
如果谣言谣传
Rumor.
乱贷款，手都贷款了。
Genius.
Genius 天才天赋才。Reveal 揭露披露透视，就是把某件事情驾驶人就是中文说出来。I'm dreading Christmas. 我害怕今年的圣诞节。Dread. If someone can confirm this rumor, please comment. 如果谁能证明这个谣言，请发言，是不是意思？请评论哦 ，comment 是评论，不是发言不对。Lauren 大哥 ，Can you to know that I would be able to repay the loan？ 他应该知道我有能力还这个贷款。The man had genius and had made his mark in the Irish world。他很天。I'm dread Christmas this year. Someone can rumor 谣言传闻啊，贷款。提到这些根本一点都不好，揭露。透露 ，Jonas 妒忌啊，这个是啊，而且他这个单词怎么鉴别啊？一点意思都没有，各不相关的啊，其实下次这个问题直接跳，不和大家看了，这个确实不好，他这个乱贷款啊。开始今天的啊，看一下昨天的啊 ，Miss Port 啊认为 Miss Ackroyd 有关系左右前妻都对他隐瞒了一些情况，说你们也对我说一些情况，说实话呀，Dr. Shaft 也一样，所以说他就像那个 Dr. Shaft 的妹妹 Colin 去套话了嘛啊。好，开始。好，重复。
Mrs. Ackroyd asked me to visit her early on Tuesday morning. She was in bed. "Well, Mrs. Ackroyd," I said, "what's the matter with you?"
"It's the shock of poor Roger's death. And then, yesterday, that meeting with that dreadful little Frenchman, or Belgian, or whatever he is. He was bullying us. Does he really imagine I'm hiding something? He..."
这个女的嘛，好像和这个撒娇吧，也可以这么说。还是说那个 Miss Port 为什么会这样说？难道我们都真的没拿了什么东西吗？
"He positively accused me yesterday."
It doesn't matter, surely, Mrs. Ackroyd, since you are not hiding anything. Mrs. Ackroyd looked away.
"Servants do gossip, and talk amongst themselves, and then..."
这个 do 它是起到一个强调，就 do 如果放在一个动词前面，动词后面用动词原形，然后表示这个强调，就说明这个servants 后面就是 闲言碎语嘛，说的很多，就可能说是不是他因为什么才这样各种，然后隐瞒一些情况告诉别人。它是个动词，都有放在动词这边的强调作用。还有一个 it was that， 这是一个强调句的句型。
Rumours get round everyone. You were with Monsieur Poirot all the time, weren't you, Doctor? It was that girl, Ursula Bourne, wasn't it? She's leaving. She would want to make all the trouble she could. You must know exactly what she said. That girl may have said all sorts of things about something she saw me do. Just
他现在是不是有点坐在心虚那种感觉？其实人家那个人没有说他什么，他现在就一个劲的在说人家，说他什么干嘛的，他一直在推，也把责任推开掉。那现在是不是他有问题？
To cause trouble.
Poirot had been right. Of the 6 people round the table yesterday, Mrs. Ackroyd at least had something to hide. If I were you, Mrs. Ackroyd, I said, I would tell Monsieur Poirot whatever it is you're hiding.
Oh!
Mrs. Ackroyd began crying.
I had hoped, Doctor, that you might tell Monsieur Poirot. Explain it, you know. Even the smallest bill for something I'd bought, Roger would question it, as if he earned only a few £100 a year, instead of being a very wealthy man.
在这里 even the smallest beer 最聪明的账单和最小的账单smallest 而不是最聪明 smart 的 smallest beer for something 不值一点小钱怎么讲 I bought 我带来的 Roger wouldn't question it Roger 就会质疑他好像他仅仅只能挣几百英镑一年而不是一个很有钱的人 Those dreadful bills 这些可恶的钱钱就是混蛋
Oh, those dreadful bills. Some I didn't like to show Roger at all. And then I got a letter from a Scottish gentleman.
Scottish gentleman
Mr. Bruce Macpherson, who was prepared to lend me anything from £10 to £10,000.
又出现一个人了这个人应该是其他人员他这个我先按这样记一下
Mr. Bruce Macpherson, who was prepared to lend me anything from £10 to £10,000. I wrote to him, but there were difficulties. He needed to know that I would be able to repay the loan. And although I expected that Roger would provide for me on his death, I didn't know.
你知道什么意思 And also 同样的我也希望这个 Roger would provide for me 就给我做占比 on his death I don't know 关于他的死我是不知道的
I thought that if only I could see his will.
这个可能去偷看他的那个 will 了他的遗嘱去了借由他偷看他的遗嘱可能就被那个servants 那个女仆看到了 Well, on Friday afternoon everyone was out so I saw 他进去了
Well, on Friday afternoon everyone was out, or so I thought, and I went into Roger's study. I had a real reason for going there, and when I saw all the papers on the desk, I suddenly had an idea. I wonder if Roger keeps his will in one of the drawers of the desk.
I see, I said. So you searched the desk. Did you find the will? Mrs. Ackroyd gave a little scream.
Oh, how bad it sounds! But it wasn't at all like that, really. In dear Roger's place, I would have said what I was leaving people in my will. Oh, but men are so secretive. But then, as I was searching, Ursula Bourne came in. Oh, it was very awkward. I shut the drawer and stood up, and I called her attention to some dust on the top of the desk. But I didn't like the way she looked, almost disapproving. I have never liked that girl very much. She's too well educated for a servant. You can't tell who are ladies and who aren't these days.
And what happened next?
Roger came in. He said, "What's all this?" And I said, "Nothing. I just came in to fetch the newspaper."
fetch 什么意思？这个单词取来拿来的意思这个可以听到生词。它这个还是好用的。fetch 取来拿来是出手来，结果拿来取来。I came into for fetch news， 我进来就是把这个 fetch 给你，就把你的报纸给你 ，and I look it and went on with it。他进来是拿 newspaper 的，然后他就拿着它，然后就走出去了。
And I took it and went out with it. I heard Bourne asking Roger if she could speak to him for a minute. I went straight up to my room to lie down. I was very upset.
There was a pause.
You will explain to Monsieur Poirot, won't you? You can see for yourself what a very small matter the whole thing was. But of course, when Monsieur Poirot was so strict about hiding things, I thought of this at once.
That is all, I said. You have told me everything?
Yes,
应该还有隐瞒。
said Mrs. Ackroyd. I noted the hesitation, and I knew that there was still something she was keeping back.
你看，他注意了他的那种犹豫，是不是？应该还有。
It was nothing less than a flash of genius that made me ask my next question.
It was nothing less than 比什么少，这里没有比什么更少的了，就是最少啊。A flash of genius 就是一个天才的一种想法。Make me ask my next question，就是 There was nothing less than，这没有比这更什么更短的一个就可以说就是在那种迅雷不及掩耳之势嘛，他就想到了下一个问题看下个问题是什么。
Mrs. Ackroyd, I said, was it you who left the silver table open?
How did you know?
She whispered.
You see, there were 1 or 2 pieces of valuable silver. I had been reading about silver, and there was a photograph of a small piece that had been sold for a huge amount of money.
是为了钱，slave 这银器It looks just one of the pieces in the silver table.
Looked just like one of the pieces in the silver table. I thought I would take it up to London with me and have it valued.
卖了吧。
Then, if it really was a valuable piece, just think what a lovely surprise it would have been for Roger.
Why did you leave the lid open? I asked.
I heard footsteps coming along.
这个是个引盖子就是你为什么把盖子打开掉了I heard a footstep coming along the terrace 这个台阶然后慌了。
Along the terrace. I hurried out of the room and just got up the stairs before Parker opened the front door to you.
管家进来了。
That must have been Miss Russell, I said thoughtfully. Mrs. Ackroyd had revealed something extremely interesting. Miss Russell must have entered the drawing-room by the French window. Where had she been?
That's a French window. What the hell entered the drawing room? 画室，在这一个法式的窗户门前。Where had she been? 她在哪儿呢？到底站在哪儿呢？
When I returned home, I discovered that Poirot had visited Caroline.
又来他这找证据。
I am helping him with the case. Monsieur Poirot wanted me to find out whether Ralph Peyton's boots were black or brown.
I
stared at her.
黑色的还是棕色的？
I see now that I was unbelievably stupid about these boots. They were brown shoes, I said. I saw them.
Not shoes, James. Boots. Monsieur Poirot wanted to know whether a pair of boots Ralph had with him at the hotel were brown or black. A lot depends on this.
And how are you going to find out? I asked. Caroline said she already had.
Monsieur Poirot thought they were probably brown. He was wrong. They're black.
Caroline evidently felt that she had scored a point over Poirot. I did not answer. I was puzzling over what connection the colour of a pair of Ralph Payton's boots had with the case.
就是我现在很迷惑，为什么这个鞋的颜色和这个案子有关系，是吧？是过的，得分 a point， 得了1分 of a point。Evidently， 证据吧，确信的感觉到他已经得了，就感觉他是正确的。I did not answer. They are black. She was wrong. Mrs. Porter said they were probably brown. He was wrong. They are black. They are black. From color, color. 认为他们是。
Caroline evidently felt that she had scored a point over Poirot. I did not answer. I was puzzling over what connection the colour of a pair of Ralph Payton's boots had with the case.
那这个我觉得这个肯定会做一道题，咱们看这题嘛。我今天确实没看到题啊。What did Miss Ackroyd think of Archie Burns？ 认为他有高学历的，但是不喜欢他。Troublemaker, she was murdered. Innocent 都没说到。真是麻烦者啊！可能这题会。Why did Miss Ackroyd go to Mixer study？ 为什么去？他是想去看看他的 Weir 不是看的。One of the friends aware of the Mr. Ackroyd. Who was the person to have left the sleeve tape open? Miss Russia. 好，我们回来看看第二个问题。因为现在他是正确的挑战嘛，所以说就要那个什么一下啊。他认为那个女的怎么样？Serves to gossip and to of themselves, and then 还没说到那里呢。She's leaving. It was that girl, was it? She's leaving. She would want to make all the trouble she could. She would want to make all the trouble she could. 她就想把她所有能犯的麻烦都弄出来啊。It wasn't know exactly what she said. That girl had made said all sorts of things about something she saw me to just cause trouble. 对，这句话就对了，那说明我的选的是对的，就可以完全的对去了。Trouble. Still want. 我一定就是多钱。这题我竟然错了。Who was the person to have left his sleeve tape open? Mrs. Ackroyd, Miss Russia. 我觉得他们是一个人啊。Miss Russia 是谁啊？女管家？Miss Russia 是谁呀？Flora 吗？太可惜了，这题写错的，太可惜了。太可惜了。大意啊，这一是。好，完了。哎呀，被看到了。